Completing our review of makeup this week, let's look at some top efforts of recent vintage in the movies. Let's look at Glenn Close here as Gutless in the movie Hook. Makeup artist Christina Smith and Greg Canham. Wonderful job. Unrecognizable. Excellent. And here's John Matuzak as Sloth in the movie The Goonies. And the makeup artists were Craig Reardon and Thomas Berman. Ellis Berman and Barry Dreband Berman. The whole Berman clan put together this slothful creature. Brad Pitt as Benjamin Button in the movie The Curious Case of Benjamin Button, nominated all over the map for its artwork. The makeup artist was Greg Canham for this movie. And here we have Kim Hunter, who's no longer with us, as Dr. Zira in Planet of the Apes 1968. But we can see how Rick Baker really established his style back then, where we can see the human features in the ape-like essence. Here's William Hurt as Eddie Jessup in Altered States. And Dick Smith was a makeup artist on this. Dick Smith is the person who gave us The Exorcist and other great movies. Here we have David Naughton as David Kessler in American Werewolf in London, which was a really transformative effort in makeup artistry compared to the earlier Wolfmen, where you just saw the wolf and then the guy, but you didn't see the guy as wolf mixed together. Here's Eric Stoltz in a movie called Mask, and to be playing Rocky Dennis, the kid with the deformity in Mask. A wonderful movie. And the makeup artists there were Michael Westmore and Zoltan Elak. Jim Carrey as the Grinch. We looked at this earlier, of course. Wonderful job there. And How the Grinch Stole Christmas. Rick Baker being the makeup artist there. And here's Emma Thompson as Nanny McPhee in the movie. Yep, Nanny McPhee. And Peter King was the makeup artist there. Again, I like this where we transform the actor, but we don't lose the actor. Ralph Fiennes in as Voldemort in the Harry Potter series, of course. We said Nick Dudman and Mark Coulier and Sean Harrison were all the makeup artists on that Harry Potter effort. And here again is Rebecca Romijn as Mystique in X-Men and X-Men 2. And the makeup artist there had not only the facial stuff, but the body paint too. So we had Christopher Mark Penny, Leanne Ray Potvin, Charles Porlier, Krista Young, etc., etc. Makeup is so interesting now because not only the palette in colors has changed to become so wide and so various because of the chemical changes in paint and in makeup, that there is a TV program a lot of people have seen. It's a very popular TV program called Face Off, where they have different people compete for the best makeup designs in the show. And they'll get a character, and then they'll give it a certain time, and we'll cut back and forth. And here these two gentlemen are putting their skull cap on and working. And this gentleman here is doing a kind of a Freddy makeup job. And here they are at the end when they're competing for their awards. They stand next to their creations, proudly looking at this bird mohawk creature here. And what's interesting though is when you watch this program, if you're interested in makeup in any way, shape, or form, it's a wonderful program to watch. It really does specialize on the prosthetics and the special effects makeup, but still, just watching them at work, the concentration, the artistry is really a lot of fun, and they play up the competition really well. And so a lot of this becomes, again, less makeup, more prosthetic sculpture, but still interesting. And the final results are arresting, as anybody can see. Here, I think, the poor people who do hair really are left out of the game, since hair is put down with the skull cap and everything else becomes a sculpted creation. Here's a nice hairy guy here where there's little of the actor revealed. It's just like special effects, makeup, and face-off. It got to the point where the actor is almost superfluous because they're replaced by just the design. It's almost like draping over the sculpture. And a lot of things, that we want people to know about makeup are lost here, like top stick, which we use to put mustaches on, and things like that are known in the business. So they'll call for it, and you have to run it in, and you don't know what it is because you're too busy painting faces to remember what adheres mustaches, what keeps wigs down, and things like that. So that's lost in this overwhelming, very expensive makeup that we do with airbrushing and everything else. And the point here where, again, like I say, do we need an actor for this? How can they move? I mean, it's overwhelmed with latex there. I think getting back to the feature movies with characters, it's really the subtle touch where we can see Cate Blanchett here in Lord of the Rings, or an Anna Karenina touch here, or just the person playing Hitchcock getting airbrushed. The touches that really let the actor act are probably the most exciting for the actor, even if they're playing a character here in Lord of the Rings, that we can see that the actor is going to come through. And here in Les Mis, the makeup is marvelous, it's wild. I mean, between the hair and the face and everything, but still the character comes through, and that's important. And to just show how important it is in a feature movie, let's look at The Mummy here. The Mummy, the first rendition of The Mummy, which we have in, I think it was 1990s. It's got Brendan Fraser playing, in 1999, I think it was, Brendan Fraser playing the archaeologist in The Mummy. And what we have here is Patricia Velasquez, who's playing the Pharaoh's mistress. And here's Patricia Velasquez, and here is her makeup job as a Pharaoh's mistress, taken a little bit from Elizabeth Taylor's kind of rendition of Cleopatra back in the 60s. But she plays Ankh-Su-Namun, the mistress of the Pharaoh, and her character is painted gold from head to toe with intricate black markings all over her body that give the effect of a scaly chain-like costume. And so this is body paint. So a different person did the whole body paint on her. In the movie, no one is allowed to touch her except the Pharaoh. So behind the Pharaoh's back, she gets together with the high priest Imhotep because they're in love. And when the Pharaoh returns unexpectedly and notices the telling tale, her makeup is smeared. And that's how he figures out that she's been unfaithful, and so she is killed and mummified alive, and that's how the whole movie begins. But it all starts with a makeup premise built into the story and done very well, as we can see. And so I hope that when we work with our tale and any tales we work with in the future, you make makeup part of the story so that it then has a relevance and as a balance to the whole art department with the props and set dressing, set design. It's all one. So whether it's subtle or whether it's special effect, to work with it so that the camera loves it is really essential to good movie making.